Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. How about that, guys? Yay! We're back again, guys. Welcome to Post-Thanksgiving Eats. I'm stuffed still. Yes, I'm hungry, but I'm stuffed, if you know what I mean. We all are. Oh, gosh. Yes, we all are. Folks, it's been fun during the past, I want to say even 2 days. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of goodies. And yes, my wife will tell you that I made some of them, but she made a lot of them too. It was a lot of fun. From yams to mashed potatoes, gravy, turkey galore, literally, my holiday salad that I usually make, sweet potatoes, long green beans, which are a tradition in our family at the holidays, and homemade biscuits or dinner rolls here. We've had a lot of fun, literally. We've had a ton of fun. But now we're getting back into the grind of things. Tomorrow we're going to be putting up our family Christmas tree, which is going to be a blast. We've got some things here that we want to share with you today. That's why we're here. Now that I've said that, I want to start off this program with tonight's national anthem performed by the United States Army Barbershop Quartet. I would ask everybody now to please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Oh, yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it. America's finest right there.
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet performing the national anthem in 2015. We want to thank all of our men and women in our armed forces, wherever they might be, today, tonight, tomorrow, and every day. We want to thank them for all that they do for us, and helping protect our world, helping protect our families, and helping to protect each one of us. We want to thank them for that. We want to thank all of our military around the world, all of our allies in their armed forces that help us protect the world and they protect their own countries. We want to thank them for that. They risk their lives, they put their lives on the line every day for all of us. We want to thank them for that. They do a great job. God bless all of our military members wherever they might be, whether it's around this world or here in our own countries. Thank you all for your service. I even the other day thanked military members that were over at our local Walmart shopping in uniform. I thank them every time I see them. I shake their hand, pat them on the back, and thank them for the service. I believe everybody should be doing this. Literally everybody. Because they're helping us. They're literally helping us. God bless our military, wherever they might be. Now, folks, I've got some other information here for you. But before I get into it, I want you to all know that we need your help. We need your thumbs up here. Before you leave tonight, give us a thumbs up. It's very important. Thumbs up and the number of people watching our program is very important. YouTube and Google uses those things in their arithmetic to decide whether they're going to allow anybody here on YouTube to see our program. We need you guys. We also need you guys here for the long duration of our program. Not 10 or 15 minutes, not 2 or 3 minutes. We need you here for our program. YouTube also uses that information. The number of people watching, the length of time that you watch, the number of thumbs up that we get, everything goes into that algorithm that tells YouTube people to watch this program. They don't share a program willingly. We need to show them that this program matters. Okay? Please also subscribe to this program. Those of you that are subscribers here, check your subscriptions. YouTube is, again, unsubscribed about 10 people this week. Please check your subscriptions. Make sure you're still subscribed to this program. Those people that are subscribed, check also and make sure you're receiving notifications. If you're not receiving notifications, check that little bell icon right next to the subscription button. Click on that bell icon. Then click on the word ALL. When you click on that bell icon, a drop-down menu of 3 items is going to pop up. Click on that word ALL. That should get you subscribed and also notified when we are on the air. Those people that aren't subscribed, please subscribe. We need you here. And you need the information we're going to share. All of us need that information to also benefit ourselves, our families, and everybody around us. Please share this program far and wide. Share it with your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, your family, extended family, the people you work with, and also the people you associate with on social media. Everybody needs this program as well. We'd appreciate that very much. Okay? We'd appreciate it. Charlene Savan is here from chilly southwestern Louisiana. Unreal. Yes, it's chilly over there. It's chilly all over the United States. Okay? Over in the Pacific Northwest, going all the way down into California, everybody has had low temperatures. That's going to continue. However, this is only the beginning of the low temperature season. Okay? Sunday is December 1st. It's Christmas time. It's winter time. So we're all going to see lower temperatures. You need to dress accordingly, please. Prepare your homes for low temperatures as well. Check your furnace filters to make sure they're not clogged with dirt. Making sure the furnace filters are replaced if they need to be. That way your furnace filters will be working properly to make sure your furnace is working well and it's not putting out carbon monoxide, which it could do. When people turn on their furnaces every year, if those filters have not been changed, and your furnace has not been checked recently within the last 2 or 3 years, it ought to be checked to make sure it's operating properly. Okay? That's one of the biggest things people go through in the wintertime. And when you first turn your furnace on, you may smell something weird. If that weirdness does not go away after a while, you need to check your furnace. Call someone to check your furnace. Okay? Please do that. We don't want your house burning down. We also want you alive and not inhaling carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, tasteless fuel, tasteless gas. Okay? Yes, if you're overcome by it, something can happen bad. Don't let that happen. Don't let your family be exposed to that colorless gas that will kill you. Don't do that. Okay? Now, with that said, please, folks, please stay here if you're watching this program. We have a lot of great information for you. Okay? We need you here. We really need you here. Now, I want to thank everybody that's here. Okay? SCP Deadman from American Zombie Apocalypse is here. Welcome to the EMA chat. We appreciate you here. Okay? Welcome to the Members Association here on our channel here on YouTube. For those of you that aren't subscribed or are subscribed to this channel, you can also join as a member here. Okay? Possibly as early as tomorrow, we're going to have a membership only session here. We're going to talk about a lot of things and even things off the wall. You might want to be here for that. Okay? So if you're not already subscribed, or if you're subscribed and you're not a member, please join our members only area here as well. Okay? That's another heads up. But we appreciate everybody here. We love you. We need you here. Okay? Charlene Mayo here says it's been a while since she's been here. Thanks, Charlene, for being here. We love and appreciate you. We want you here. Now, I want to start off this program first about talking about things that affect us here in the United States, which will also affect us all over the world. Okay? Now, this past week and a half, it's unreal what happens here. Okay? Let's go back about 2 weeks ago. Okay? Biden had told Zelensky to go ahead and use U.S. and British-made missiles to attack Russia. And they did. Zelensky and Ukraine launched a bunch of anti-ballistic missiles into Russia, killing people. Launched drones over to Moscow, creating damage and killing people. What permission did Biden have to tell the Ukrainian government to launch British missiles? He had no business saying that. But Zelensky did. Twice now, because Zelensky has attacked Russia, Russia's attacked Ukraine. Wednesday evening, Thanksgiving morning, Russia attacked Ukraine again, big time. Major missile attack, drone attack on Ukraine and even Kiev and Fairfield. Okay? Major cities in Ukraine were attacked. But this time, it was not military facilities that were attacked, or military bases. Russia attacked private people, their homes, their apartment buildings. Russia started killing a wide amount of people because Zelensky went after Russia. Things are kind of in a holding pattern right now. But what we thought Biden was doing starting World War III may have come to a halt before World War III could even start. Why do I say that? Good old President Trump intervened. President Trump told Zelensky to stop attacking Russia and to prepare to negotiate an end to the war. He also told Putin to stop the war as well. We'll see where that takes us. Putin has said he only wants to negotiate with Trump. Well, guess what? Trump is still in charge. Trump has also told Mexico and Canada that on day one, he's going to add a 25% tariff on everything coming out of Canada and everything coming out of Mexico. He met with, or spoke with, I shouldn't say met, but spoke with the President of Mexico and told her, if you do not stop the illegal entrance into the United States of these illegal people coming into Mexico, then we're going up the tariff. We're going to tax you out of oblivion, or tax you to oblivion. So now the President of Mexico is stopping the great big huge caravan of thousands of people that were going to go into the unguarded border of the United States. Mexico has put their own soldiers on the border of Mexico and the United States to stop the onslaught of illegal people coming into the United States. So that's going to help as well. Meantime, Trump has also spoken with Governor Abbott in Texas and told him, prepare to close the border. Prepare to close the border. Before now, Biden was telling our Customs Border Enforcement teams to cut the border wire that Abbott and his law enforcement had put up. Well, guess what? Customs Border Protection isn't paying attention to Biden any longer. A few weeks ago, Trump spoke with ICE, Immigration's Customs Enforcement. ICE said that they would back President Trump to the hilt, and now that's exactly what's going on. ICE is doing whatever it takes to shut down the border now. And when Trump takes power on January 20th, he's going to shut down that border completely. And he said he's going to depopulate the United States of terrorists and criminals that have entered the border illegally. That's where he's going to start. Then he's going to take and go after the children that have crossed into America illegally, unaccompanied minors, which we believe are being used as in the sex trade. He's going to stop that as well. Homan, who is Trump's border czar, Trump's appointed border czar, has already started going after information to help with the depopulation of illegals that are in this country. We also have a lot of illegals that are starting to leave this country. A lot of illegals that have come across the border out into this country, and now they're going south because they know that if they stay here, they'll be in trouble. So they're already on the way out. Okay? That's also a good thing. But Trump's went a step further this week, on Wednesday. On Wednesday, Trump told Iran to stand down and stop going after Israel. Iran also told the Houthis in Yemen, back off, stop firing missiles at U.S. ships, and stop firing missiles over into Palestine and into Israel. Now the Houthis have also backed out. Hezbollah, on the other hand, to the north in Lebanon, have also stopped. They have stopped. Israel has put up a ceasefire over in Gaza. The Palestinians are moving back into their homes in the Gaza Strip. Because right now the ceasefire is standing. That's also a good thing. So even before Trump has taken power, he is eliminating the wars and threat of wars around the world. Regardless of what Biden does or says, Trump has stopped it. Trump has stopped it. Biden said he would have the full force of his entire administration to help in the transition to the Trump administration. But in the same breath, he's also told Zelensky and other powers to attack Russia, to make sure there was a war started, so that Trump would have even more problems at the beginning of his presidency. But now Russia and Ukraine have no choice but to stop their fighting and negotiate a settlement of the war. And yes, Ukraine is going to lose. Ukraine is going to lose big time, because Russia is also cutting Ukraine off from the steady influx of money into Ukraine. Billions of dollars have continued to flow into Ukraine earlier this week because Biden sent it there. Now that money is coming to a halt. And Zelensky knows it. Zelensky has to come to the realization that they will have to negotiate and surrender. That's what's going to be. Delete Funds is asking how much will avocados cost after the tariffs. I'll tell you one thing. Avocados don't just come from Mexico. Avocados come out of California.
Location,
Great big huge ranches in California supply 90% of the avocados in the United States. What's going to happen with the tariffs? The tariffs will start at the beginning. But once Mexico realizes who Trump really is, things will calm down. And Mexico will start biting by the line, abiding by the Trump administration and what Trump does. Yes, at the beginning the tariffs will take place, but Trump is going to take control and stop the influx of illegal substances, including drugs, into this country. And also to bring automobile manufacturing back into the United States. He told Mexico that if they wanted to continue to ship vehicles from Mexico into the United States, Trump would put a tariff on those vehicles. So that wouldn't happen. Mexico cannot continue to ship vehicles into the United States believing that they will be paid thousands upon thousands of dollars for those vehicles. It's not going to happen. The vehicles that are made in Mexico will come back into the United States. Detroit will become an automaker instead of being drowned out. If any of you have looked at Detroit, Michigan lately, tons and tons of unemployment, homes that have been abandoned, factories that have been abandoned because they shipped their business to Mexico and even China. So Trump is taking back the country. Trump is taking back our economy. So vehicles will be made in America, not Mexico or China. And if China wants to continue to supply vehicles, they're going to be high-priced vehicles. Okay? Trump is taking charge of the economy even now, even before he takes office. He's stopping it all. Things are going to be made in America, not made elsewhere. Okay? The Made in America symbol will mean something very real. Not just because we supplied the parts and Mexico made the vehicle, or whatever it is. Things that are having the product symbol Made in America will completely be made in America. Not just by parts that were made in America and sent over to Mexico or China to be put in our vehicles. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. There's a huge factory in Arizona that's making computer chips. Instead of us trying to buy computer chips from China, soon we'll be making our own computer chips at this huge factory in Arizona. So things will become less expensive. Okay? They'll be more family friendly. They'll be more family friendly. Now, you all have heard that Jack Smith had to drop all charges against President Trump. That's only the beginning. Okay? Jack Smith was a self-appointed special prosecutor. I've talked about this in the past. Jack Smith was never a special prosecutor in reality. He lied about it. And now, since he's had to step down and dismiss this case, or his cases against Trump, he's going to end up being a nobody. Nobody's going to want to hire an attorney that went after President Trump. Very few law firms are going to want Jack Smith. Jack Smith will become a persona non grata. Because what he did and the illegalities of what he did. The Attorney General in New York and the District Attorney in New York look like stupid people. They look like stupid people. The charges that those attorney generals and district attorney did to President Trump, they say they can no longer try to prosecute President Trump because he's president-elect. They said when Jack Smith had the cases dismissed, that he was dismissing them without prejudice, which would leave the back door open to go back after Trump legally after Trump leaves office. That's not possible. Why? Because the cases can no longer be prosecuted. The cases will not be able to be prosecuted any longer when Trump leaves office. Why? Because the statute of limitations will have expired, and they cannot go back after President Trump. Even though those Democrat communists, yes, I'm calling a spade, those Democrat communists will no longer have a foothold on President Trump at all. Everything that they did to try to go after President Trump, it was called lawfare. With the Biden administration trying to go after Trump, so one, he wouldn't be able to run for office, which he still did. Two, to put him in jail before he got into office to try to stop him from taking office. Well, guess what? The Democrat communists all fell apart. The Democrat Communist Party has fallen apart. They cannot even get to a place to even put somebody in place to take over charge of the Democrat Party today. They can't find anybody to take over because what they did. Nobody wants the Democrats at all. It should be a cold day in hell before the Democrats ever have to do anything or can do anything. They won't be able to do it. The Democrat Party here in the United States will be a party that is hated, and they won't be able to accomplish anything in the near future. Probably 25 to 50 years from now, maybe. 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 People aren't dumb. People aren't dumb at all. Except those people that try to take this country down. For those of you that may have got into the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade yesterday, as it was starting up, the Palestinians that have been causing problems here in the United States got beat up. They tried protesting against the United States and against President Trump. They were stopped before they even got started. They tried to delay the parade. It didn't work. It didn't work. Okay? They tried to stop the parade, to dismantle what is good about this country. And it failed. It failed. Okay? Anybody that's tried to take apart this country, it's failed. Now, Pam Miller is saying California has used seasonal migrants from Mexico for many years, that she can remember. They come over the border to work, then return to Mexico. This system can work, and yes, it can. This is not what President Trump is doing. It's not what President Trump is doing. Yes, we still need legal migration. Legal migration. These people that come across the border to work in the fields of California, Arizona, and New Mexico, and even Texas, must do so legally. Yes, we need them, but we do not need the illegal immigration. It has to come to a screeching halt. Tens of thousands of people come across illegal that are criminals, that have murdered our police officers, that have murdered our citizens. There are criminals stealing. Stealing, guys. Over in New York, you can steal up to $1,000 worth of merchandise before you'll be prosecuted. This is as a result of all the illegal migrants that have come into this country and think that they can run roughshod over the people. That is over. The gangs, the MS-13 from Central America and South America, going to stop. The Tren de Aragua is going to stop. Tens of thousands of these gang members have come across this country, stealing, hurting, and murdering our people. It's going to stop. It's going to stop. Now, yes, Sage Pup says, let's just try to stay family friendly here. Absolutely. Absolutely. We are going to be family friendly on this channel. But we're also going to assist the president in doing his work. We are. We're going to assist this president in doing the work. Okay? We have to. We're all American citizens here. Okay? Yes, I understand we have some Democrats here as well. And you can be here. We want you here. But we need to work together. We need to work as a family. You're part of the emergency management family here on our channel, but you're also part of the American family, and by a wider definition around the world. Because what happens here in the United States affects everything going on around the world, gangs included. Because Biden opened up the borders of our country. The borders of other countries were also invaded. Those invaders are going to end up going back to their own countries to stay. To stay. Delete Fund says Tennessee's already been invaded. Yes, Tennessee has. North Carolina here has also been invaded. But I heard some illegals talking the other day in Walmart saying they're going to go back where they came from. Okay? So they know what's going on. They are very much aware of what's going on. Sage Pup says, diversity working together is how we make a better world. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Arnold Smith says, Oklahoma has already begun the removal process. Yes, Oklahoma has. And many other states also as well. But there are states that are standing up and said, no, we're not going to do this. One of them was California. Governor Newsom is not letting cities within California get away with withdrawing from the sanctuary city that Newsom envisioned. Newport Beach, Huntington Beach, and even over in San Diego and El Cajon. Cities all over California are saying, no, we're not going to fall in lockstep with Governor Newsom. And then Newsom says, oh, we're going to pull our state funds from you if you don't fall in line with what we say. Really? Trump has already said that those states will suffer penalties if they don't abide by federal law. Federal law says there will be no sanctuary cities. It's against the law now. It's going to be against the law when Trump takes office, and Trump is going to enforce it. Sanctuary cities are no more. Period. Richard Smith is here in the chat saying foreigners here in Nova Scotia will try to push ahead in line at stores and crowd you out of the checkout. Richard Smith says he gets very mad. Yes, they do. Those foreigners think they are in control. They're not. They're not in control. The people that are doing that in the stores need to be pushed out of the stores. Stores need to tell those people they're persona non grata. They're not welcome to do anything in the stores, not welcome to spend their money in the stores if they don't go along with the program. They need to pay attention to what's going on. They need to obey the law. They need to obey a law. Delete Fund is asking, what is a sanctuary city? A sanctuary city is a city that wants those illegals in their cities. Oh, please, please come into our city. We want you here. In the way of New York, look at what's happening in New York City itself. New York City can no longer afford those illegals. And New York City is sending them out of that state. Come January 1st, New York and Chicago will no longer be able to get money from the federal government for those illegals. The illegals won't have that money any longer. They begin anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a month to stay in fancy hotels and to have houses. January 1st, that money goes away. So all these illegals, all those millions of illegals that have come into this country illegally are going to go away because they no longer have money. And they may start a revolution. They may start robbing and pillaging their neighbors because they have no more money. Okay? That's what's happening, guys. January 1st, all that money goes away. They're not going to be able to spend money in fancy hotels in New York or Chicago or Los Angeles or anywhere else they're at. The money's going to go away. These sanctuary cities that have invited all these illegals to be there, it's going to end. It's going to end. Canadian Patriot 1 says California is going to go bankrupt because of it. I need to tell you this, Dave. California is already bankrupt. California is bankrupt to the tune of over $1 trillion in arrears. California is already bankrupt. They can't afford to pay their bills because they have given money to all these illegals. California is already bankrupt. Newscom's not going to have money to do anything. Newscom in California is not going to be able to do anything. Governor Pritzker in Chicago, in Illinois, he's going to lose his clout as well. Chicago is one of those sanctuary cities, allowing all that money to come from the federal government to give those illegal people $3,000, $5,000 a month to live, to buy a car, to become very wealthy on the dole of the United States government. It's come to an end. Biden raided the FEMA funds for disaster situations to help American citizens. Biden raided those funds that FEMA had. Biden also raided the Social Security budget. It was made back before World War II to help senior citizens live after they retired. The Social Security is not even enough to live on. And yet Biden took a lot of that money away from Social Security to give to illegals illegally. Biden gave it to them illegally. Now the federal government is up to their ears in arrears. The federal government can't do it any longer. Diane Kelman says, what a slap in the face for our beloved veterans. Yes. New York and other cities kicked the veterans out of the hotels. Kicked our veterans out of the places where they had to live. Because the sanctuary cities said, oh, we want these illegals in our cities. We want them here. Well, guess what? It's going to bite them in the butt. All these governors, all these mayors that have done this, it's going to bite them in the butt. The sanctuary cities are going to go away. Trump has said there will be no sanctuary cities here in the United States any longer. No sanctuary cities in America any longer. And yet, Newscom is standing up to him. Oh, really? Oh, really? The cities that aren't going to abide by what we want them to, they're going to lose funding. Guess what? California is going to end up completely bankrupt, upside down. Not even being able to pay their bills, not being able to fix roads, not even being able to keep the power on. Because Newscom wants to become Hitler. Newscom wants to become Putin and do whatever he darn well wants to do. Well, guess what? It doesn't do anything for anybody. It doesn't help people even to live. It doesn't do it. Canadian Patriot says, why doesn't Biden give them some of the money he and his family extorted from all these other countries? I agree. Why doesn't Biden stop extorting money out of Ukraine? Yes, Biden has taken money from the American taxpayer in terms of trillions and trillions of dollars now, not just billions that you see now, but all that money Biden has given Ukraine has come back to the Biden crime family. Yes, that money's come back to the Biden crime family. Yeah, it has. The crimes have been going on since before, when Biden was a vice president to Obama. Okay? Why was Sir Biden on the board of Burisma, the Ukraine oil company? Why was Biden's son Hunter on the board of Burisma, the Ukrainian oil company? He had no oil business knowledge. He had no background. He had no education. And yet Biden, his father, put him on the board of Burisma. He got a prosecutor from Ukraine fired in order for Ukraine to get paid money from the American taxpayer. Unreal what our government's done. Unreal. Delete Funds says no government agency or official has impacted my life in the last 15 years. Mine either. Mine either. Because what Biden and what Obama have done has affected each one of us. Has affected each one of us. Obama's been behind Biden and has now come out that Obama hated Biden. Yes, Obama hated Biden. The Biden's presidential term for the last 4 years has actually been Obama's third term. But even Biden has not even gone along with what Obama wanted to do. Obama hates Biden bad. And the bad thing is this. Yes, Biden became the president of the United States. That's because Hillary and Obama lost control of Biden. Yes, Hillary and Obama lost control of Biden. Hillary wanted to become president. Biden took over. Hillary wanted to become president in 2016, but Trump kept that from happening. In 2020, Hillary still wanted to become president, and Joe Biden won. Obama hated Biden. Obama's been behind everything that's been bad for the past 4 years. It's incredible. Canadian Patriot 1 says Ukraine is still laundering money from the Democrats. That's going back into the Democrats' coffers. It's very interesting what Kamala Harris has done. Kamala Harris spent $10 billion in 4 months' time. Kamala Harris spent $10 billion in 4 months' time trying to get elected to the office of President of the United States. If that's the case, why is Kamala Harris in debt $20 million? Why is Kamala Harris in debt $20 million? Especially since she spent $1 billion in the last 2 weeks before the election. Unreal. Delete Funds says, got to go back to my bunker now. I have to clean some of the air filters. Yeah, I hear you, Delete Funds. I hear you. Anyway, guys, things are going to change. Things are already in the process of changing. Now remember that prosecutor named Fani Willis in Georgia. She just got reelected to another 2 years as Attorney General of Georgia. Well, if that's not bad enough, it's been discovered that Fani Willis already has a Fani Willis store, an online Fani Willis store, where you can buy breeches that say, "Go Fani Willis." You can buy other Fani Willis merchandise. She thinks that she is so popular that she can sell merchandise online. No other Attorney General of any other state has ever done this before. It actually violates the attorney bar. It violates the Bar Association, the guidelines. This Attorney General is blowing everybody out of the water. She thinks she can do whatever she wants. Her case against President Trump fell apart. And now, the state of Georgia is going against Fani Willis. She may end up being prosecuted for what she's done. Not because she set up a store that was going to pat her on the back and pay her money because she's such a wonderful woman. But the state of Georgia is going to prosecute her, and she may end up going to state prison in Georgia. Violation of ethics codes. Violation of ethics codes in Georgia. Violation of the law in Georgia. And violation of the law of the United States government. Yes, this Attorney General got reelected. How that happened, who knows? But apparently she had so many people buffaloed that she got reelected. But it's going to come and bite her in the butt. It's going to bite her in the butt. Yes, we are all going to benefit by President Trump taking back over, taking back control of the United States. It's going to happen now. I promise you it's going to happen. It's going to happen in a big way. It's going to happen in a huge way. And we all are going to come benefit from it. When you violate the law, it will always come bite you in the butt. Sleeping Volcano says, oh hell, they won't do anything because she is a damn Democrat. Yeah, she's a Democrat. But she's already violated the law, and Georgia is already going after her. Georgia's already going after her. She thinks she's above the law, that she can do whatever she wants. Her lover is probably going to go to jail before she does. Unreal what they've done. Unreal what they've done. When I heard she started her own store online, I'm going, what the heck is going on here? Yeah. It's unreal. The deep state thought they had everything rigged. And guess what? It's come back and biting them in the butt. It's going to bite them in the proverbial butt. And yes, I would love to use stronger language than that, but I'm not going to. Just because I could use stronger language doesn't mean it's right, and I won't do that. Yes, I've gotten mad before, and you guys heard me use some strong language, and I apologize for that. But guess what? As Richard Smith says here in the chat, Trump will go hunting into swamp, and Trump is going to take the people in the swamp down, and they're going to drown in the swamp. Fact. Fact. Guys, if you like what we're saying here, like what we're doing here on this channel, please subscribe to this channel. please give us a thumbs up. It would be very much appreciated. Now, I want to talk about emergency preparedness tonight. Okay? This is Friday preparedness. Friday night preparedness. That's what we do here. Sleeping Volcano says, hope Trump can swim because the swamp will try to drown him. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The swamp is going to try to drown him. But guess what? They're not going to be able to. The swamp can't even swim. The swamp can't even swim right now. They have no support for it. They have absolutely no support for it. Now, before I get going on preparedness here, I want to thank Don and Gregory for sending us a PayPal donation about a week ago. I kept forgetting to mention that. I sent them a small message back after they made their latest donations before Thanksgiving, about a week or so ago. Thank you, Don and Gregory, for doing that. We appreciate you so much. Now I want to show a card that Linda Covington sent us, and we got it in the mail today. Look at this cool card. Okay? A thank you card from Linda Covington. And on the inside, dear Ron and Carol, may your family enjoy this beautiful season of gratitude. I am thankful for all the prayers I've been recovering, and I pray for abundant blessings for all of you. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. Psalms chapter 136, verse 1. Psalms 136, verse 1. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. On the other side, thinking of you in this season of grateful hearts, so thankful for God's amazing goodness and love. Blessings at Thanksgiving, Linda. It's a great card. Thank you, Linda, for this. It's beautiful. Folks, I just saw that Demon Catman put up our address here, and it's also going across the bottom of your screen as we speak. I keep all cards and letters that you guys send. We don't get enough cards and letters, I'm going to tell you that. Carol and I would love to see more cards and letters from you telling us what you're doing in your families, what you're doing preparedness-wise as well, and giving us more ideas to talk about things here on this chat, on our program. Yes, we'd love to see ideas from all of you. Okay? It would be great. We used to get 2 or 3 cards and letters every week, and now it's maybe 1 every other week. Maybe. But we appreciate you sending us cards and letters. We really do. And when you send us a card and letter, you can tuck a donation into the card or the letter. Okay? We'd appreciate that as well. Okay? We also have our PayPal and our Venmo addresses right below this video that you're seeing tonight in the top of the program description. Our email address is there. We have a little blurb there where you can join as a member of Emergency Management Associates. We'd appreciate that as well. Greatly appreciate that. Okay? So please help support us. We need that support to keep this program on the air. We really do. Again, thank you, Linda, for this beautiful card. We really appreciate that today. Carol had tears in her eyes as she read it. Now, let's talk about preparedness. Tonight, I'm going to talk about the ultimate preparedness checklist. Things you need to get. For those that are new to emergency preparedness, you may feel very intimidated, or even very intimidated when we talk about preparedness. Sometimes you may think that the information we have to give you is hard. You may think it's hard. You may think you need to learn just to have a clue. It's really not that hard to become prepared. and I'm going to talk about the easy part of becoming prepared tonight. From food storage to fire starting, finding your way around the neck of the woods where you live, finding your way around the neck of the woods where you live, even to the use of lethal force if you have to. The sheer breadth and depth of this subject may sound and seem very bewildering, sometimes even hard to overcome, especially if you aren't coming from a lifetime that some of us have learned hard skills over the years, and the knowledge that we have, we're willing to give you. Yes, the knowledge we have, we're willing to impart to all of you. But the sheer breadth of everything that involves emergency preparedness may seem very hard to understand, or even very hard to do. It's not. All you have to do is start becoming prepared. All you have to do is start becoming prepared. Okay? Now, we don't want you to feel overwhelmed or give up on the prospect of taking responsibility for all facets of your own life and your own survival. Not too long ago, it was not called preparedness. It was called life. It was called life. Living life. Then we called it preparedness, and things and people become very confused. Now, life like your great-grandfather and great-grandmother lived. We're talking about life like your great-grandmother and grandfather used to live. Here's a picture of my grandparents when they were married. Okay, this is about 2019, or 920. This is back 1917, 1919 time period. Okay? Times like that, when emergency preparedness was just living, just being able to scrape by. I remember being sent out to the garden to pull plants out of the garden to eat when I was a young boy, when I was at my great-grandmother's house. And my grandmother, wanting to help feed us, sent us out to the garden to bring tomatoes and carrots and other things from the garden. That was preparedness. But just to help you get a jump start of focusing your efforts and energies, we put together a preparedness checklist for most of the basic essential items for beginners. This list that I have for you tonight is the most used and important basic survival items you should have, no matter where you live or what kind of disaster that you might be facing on your own. So there's no need to fear. I want to explain something here. Everyone has to start somewhere. Everyone has to start somewhere. And I'm starting with each one of you, my friends and my family. I am here to help each one of you every step of the way. I'm giving you an idea of what's going on. A quick reminder. We're going to talk about shelter. We're going to talk about water. We're going to talk about cooking and food. We're going to talk about light.
Location off coast of northern Peru, class moderate, magnitude 5.3, depth 6.2 miles, 8 minutes ago.
A 5.3 earthquake just hit off the coast of Peru 5 minutes ago. So we're going to talk about getting light. We're going to talk about clothing. We're going to talk about communications. We're going to talk about tools. We're going to talk about knives. We're going to talk about weapons. We're going to talk about medical and first aid. We're going to talk about a bug-out kit, a bug-out bag, a BOB. Now, I want to first talk about a non-items checklist. A non-items checklist. The contents of this list are by design very basic. As I have said before in previous programs, no matter where you live or what kind of threat that you may have to face, the following things we're going to be talking about will be very useful to you, if not even mandatory for you to have. And you may find them mandatory for you to be able to get. But everything we talk about here cannot cover every contingency or even every nuance that might reflect each person's unique situation where you live. Depending on you and your specifics, some things and recommendations may be different. Someone living in an arid desert, for example, would probably place even greater importance on water supplies and water filtration than usual. Now, keep in mind, one of the most basic preparedness items that you're going to want to have, starting now, is to remember nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. Even sitting on the shelf in your cool, dry house, things either wear out or rot away. No matter the consumables or how well you preserve it, it will eventually go bad or spoil on you. Rotating the stock that you have on hand, rotating the food you have in cans or packages, putting the newer items behind the older items and using older items first. My wife still has that same problem. She's getting used to rotating the food that we have here in the house, making sure we use the older stuff first. It may be older, but it's still good. It's still usable. It still is nutrition for our bodies. Rotating your food is very important. You want to eat the old stuff first and always have the new stuff behind it. That way you don't have food spoiling on you, going bad before you're able to use it. Remember, first in, last out? Guess what? It's not that way. First in, first out approach. First in, first out approach. Again, using the older stuff first. Using that because you want to replenish what you have used. If you use something, put that item on the next thing to buy. We have a shopping list that Carol and I have. When we use something, it gets put on the new buy list. It gets put on our new shopping list. Okay? It's also helping us prevent our money from going down the drain, going to waste. For example, you have some medicine stashed for disaster readiness, and it expires or loses its effectiveness in 6 months. You would want to pull that stale bottle of meds and use them around your house. And then replenish those meds with something new and putting it in the back of the things that you have. Next time you go to the store, you would want to purchase a replacement bottle and then add that to your survival stash. That makes it easy. And with that, let's talk about preparing your emergency preparedness list. I first want to talk about shelter. The encampment says if the can isn't blown, it's usually okay. Yes, pretty much. NCWQ Worldwide News and Disaster Explorer Rebecca says make sure you check and the can does not pop when you go to eat it. If it does, then the air has infiltrated the can. You're right. Okay? Be safe out there. Richard Smith says he has eaten World War II rations and wish he could find more. I have eaten World War II rations. They're not the best to eat, but they're edible. They're edible. I would not want to live on World War II rations forever. However, if that's what you have, you have. I have food right now from 4 Patriots and Patriots Foods. It's stored in Mylar containers. It's going to be good for 25 years. We use our survival food like that last. Okay? That's going to be our last part of our food supply. Because it's going to last literally forever. Let's talk about shelter. Shelter is probably the single most sought after item. The most important survival item here. It's the first consideration right after oxygen. You need to have a place to stay. You need to have a shelter that's going to protect you. Exposure can kill you in the hours if you have bad weather. Now, yesterday I found out about a child that died in western North Carolina. It's gotten very cold in western North Carolina, just like it's going to be very cold tonight. Tonight here where I live, it's going to get down to the high 30s. I shouldn't say high 30s. It's going to get down to the high 20s. 25 to 28 degrees Fahrenheit above zero. That's cold. Yesterday, Carol and I found out about a baby that was living with her parents in a tent in western North Carolina that froze to death. A baby froze to death in a tent in North Carolina. Why? Because Joseph Biden and Kamala Harris took money from FEMA and gave it to the illegals. That money could have provided a home for our own citizens to live in North Carolina after the hurricane destroyed their home. Yet people are still living in tents in western North Carolina. There's no reason for it. A baby died this week from exposure from living in a tent. The best thing that you can do for yourself is to make sure that you have essential shelter and shelter gear and supplies on hand, even if you plan on writing out your emergency situation. You need to want to have plentiful gear and supplies on hand to make sure you can live out the situation that you're going to be faced with. Okay? You shouldn't have your child die as a result of having lived in a tent. It should not happen. Rebecca says that's so sad. No kid should have to die. And it's all because this president and vice president raided the funds. Raided the funds. Even the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, put out $30 billion in money back in the coffers for FEMA. FEMA still was not allowing people to have the money. The FEMA administrator herself was not allowing people to have that money. And one of her supervisors said to her people, if someone has a Trump sign in their yard, or a Trump flag, or anything else that says that they support President Trump, don't give them anything. And yet, Miss Criswell, the head of FEMA, is denying it. She's denying it. And the person that said that is now fired without a job. If she's fired without a job, why is Criswell, the head of FEMA, denying it happened? Folks, it's going to freeze here in North Carolina tonight. Temperatures are going to be down below freezing tonight. It's going to freeze here tonight. I am hoping our children and others do not freeze to death because of what FEMA's done. If you have to shelter in place, make sure you have what is necessary to even provide shelter and warmth to help provide you with warmth to survive what's going on. Sheltering in place is even better. If you don't have to have a tent and you have a home, sheltering in place is a good thing. But those people in North Carolina were blown out by a hurricane and even a dam break, destroying everything they had. And then FEMA comes back when there's homes available, small homes, mini homes, not allowing those people to have the homes on their property because their homes might be in a floodplain still. Get them a home, get them shelter so they will survive the storm. Now, things could become even better. As we know, there are microclimates throughout the areas where we live. Microclimates, where some places will be warmer than others. But having a microclimate in your home that is warm and safe is invaluable. In the very least, you need to have a good tent, appropriate for the size of your family or household. Again, you're going to need a heavy-duty tarp. You can make a tent from a tarp or use it as a ground cover. You can use it for wind and sunshade. You can use it to protect yourself from the rain, and so much more. You can buy a poncho or rain slicker to help protect individual people in your family. Getting wet means you're going to lose body heat. And you're going to lose body heat even faster if you don't have a poncho or a cover over your head. Getting wet when it's cold is often a death sentence. Stay dry with a waterproof outer layer. You need to have emergency blankets. These crinkly foil blankets seem like a joke and will make you look like a baked potato. But they work, and they work wonders for keeping you warm. And they take up almost no room or weight. They take up almost no room or weight in your emergency kit or even in your car. A sleeping bag. You need to get a good night's rest, especially when you're in a stressful situation. And a sleeping bag is the most weight and size efficient method of achieving this. Whatever you pack, you will need to cope with the most severe weather with. And you can expect that severe weather sometimes to last a long period of time. If you live in California, you can probably get away with a lighter weight sleeping bag than someone who lives in Alaska, someone that lives in North Carolina, someone that lives in Fargo, North Dakota, Minnesota, or Detroit, Michigan. But don't get caught outside having a summer weight sleeping bag and having to use your kit in the winter. Make sure you have appropriate gear with you. Make sure you have appropriate winter gear right now. Let's briefly talk about water. Water is next in importance right after shelter. Dehydration and death by thirst will kill you in 3 days, or maybe a little longer. You will become delirious and incapacitated long before that, when you cannot get water any longer. You'll become delirious and even become incapacitated without water. It is vital you have a steady drinking water supply, potable water, and the tools necessary to produce clean, drinkable water from other sources, man-made or otherwise. You need at least 1 gallon per person per day. 1 gallon of water per person per day, and I have been counseling everybody to have at least 3 gallons per person per day. 1 drinking, 2 using to make food, 3 using it for cleaning and using it to flush toilets with. That's why I believe you should have at least 1 gallon of water per day per person, and if you can, to have at least 3 gallons of water per person per day. That way you have a plan to survive. This amount of water covers drinking and basic sanitation along with food prep. Hotter and drier weather means you need more of this. Water container. Ideally, you're going to want a 55-gallon BPA-free water barrel, but a 5-gallon container like Carol and I have with sealable lids works very well. We have 5-gallon water containers, we have 1-gallon water containers, and yes, we even have a 55-gallon water container here. Something else you might consider. Rebecca says also water for your pets, not for humans. Carol and I have water just for our pets, just for our dogs. We have 4 months of water for our dogs. And if we use a gallon, we replenish it. If we use a gallon of water, we replenish it. Something also that you might want to have is a bathtub basin. A bathtub basin. A large bag designed to sit in your bathtub that you can fill up with water at the outset of a disaster before water is cut off. That will give you a massive backup water supply.
Location near west coast of Honshu, Japan, class moderate, magnitude 5.1, depth 32.3 miles, 11 minutes ago.
There's another 5.1 earthquake off the west coast of Honshu, Japan. The other day, we had a 6.1 earthquake there. And I believe it was more than 6.1, 6.4 earthquake. And I believe it was a 7.4 earthquake. YouTube lie, or not YouTube, but USGS lie. They lie through their teeth. Earthquakes are hitting today around Honshu, Japan, on the west side. They are aftershocks of an 8.4 earthquake that hit off of Noto Peninsula in Japan about 6 months ago. These are aftershocks of the earthquake that hit off of Noto, Japan 6 months ago. It was an 8.4 earthquake. We've seen 2 5.1 earthquakes off the west coast of Japan near Noto Peninsula. Those are actually aftershocks. Anyway, getting back to water. You can use a bathtub basin water bag. Remember, you have water in your water heater you can use. And if you think your water is going to become contaminated, make sure you go to the top water spigot on the top of the water heater and turn off any more incoming water. And even before you do that, turn off the heat to the water heater. Turn off the heat to the water heater. That way, the water heater won't boil over when there's no more fresh water coming into it. You want to make sure you can drink it and use it. Turn off the heat to the water heater. Turn off the incoming water from the water supply in your house. That way, you have 25 to 50 gallons of water that are going to be uncontaminated that you can use. You may also have to have water purification tablets or unscented regular formula bleach. Water purification tablets and unscented regular formula bleach. Regular formula bleach for cleansing suspect water of biological contaminants. A water filtration device as well, such as live straws, or even better, a Sawyer mini filter. A Sawyer mini filter. Water collection containers with a filter. In Denver, where I used to live, I had 55-gallon water container on each downspout from my roof. And I had a filter that screened pebbles from my roof and leaves from my roof as well. Then I had a water filter connected to that barrel. That way it can continue to screen my water. That filter also was a reverse osmosis filter. So I was getting clean water. My first filter cleaned out particles, sand, or even gravel from the roof and leaves from the roof. And the secondary filter was a contamination filter, reverse osmosis contamination filter, that completely cleaned our water. You may need to consider to research this. There are many reverse osmosis filters on the market today. They're even better than the first osmosis filter that I had about 40 years ago. Yes, I had a wonderful reverse osmosis filter. And it filtered up to 2 gallons of water about every other hour. But now they have even better reverse osmosis filters. They can make sure you have continuous water, fresh water to drink and eat with. Okay? Okay? Food and cooking. Food and cooking. During a disaster survival scenario, you're going to need calories for fuel, calories for your body from the food you eat to keep your body working. That and food, especially hot food, good food, is a huge morale booster during rough times.
Location, Flores region, Indonesia, class light, magnitude 4.0, 10 minutes ago.
Before I get off this program tonight, I want to talk about earthquakes in Indonesia. We just got through having another 4.0 over near Java, Indonesia, just a few minutes ago. Okay? Already today there have been 14 earthquakes throughout Indonesia. One of them was over near Java. One of them was over northwest of Java, over in Sumatra, Indonesia, southern Sumatra, Indonesia. Others were in north central Indonesia. four earthquakes in Indonesia today. Okay? Remind me to talk about earthquakes in Indonesia before the end of this program. Okay? Now, for most of you that I'm talking to, we're talking about emergency survival. Starting out preparing for survival. Because most of you have not even started. The reason I'm doing this is because I want you ready. There is still a very good chance you may find yourself in a survival mode more sooner than later. Now, if you're just starting out preparing, you can easily and more painlessly start your emergency food supply by adding an item or two every time you go to the store. You can start your emergency food supply by adding one or two items to your store list, to your shopping list when you go to the store. One or two items is not going to break the bank. Something as small as 3 square meals for each person for 3 days will cover you for 90% of the things you might have happen to you. Have at least 3 square meals a day per person for 3 days might cover for 90% of the things that you might have happen to you. But you need to have more than just 3 days worth of food. You want to have between 2,000 to 2,500 calories per person per day for a high activity fueling for your body. 2,000 to 2,500 calories per person per day to keep fully active. But you can ration to stretch out, and you can ration that food to stretch out an existing emergency supply of food. And you may be able to have less food, but be safe with that. Be reasonable and safe. Grab your grocery list and add the following to your grocery list. Non-perishable, calorie-dense foodstuffs. Non-perishable, calorie-dense foodstuffs. Staples like flour, honey, pasta, rice, and beans. I'm going to repeat that. Non-perishable, calorie-dense foodstuffs like flour, honey, pasta, rice, and beans. Dave Ramsey, who has a financial talk show on the radio, is trying to get people to where they're not depending on credit. Tear up the credit cards. Survive on the money you have in your own home. Don't become debt-ridden. And if you want to get out of debt, eat rice and beans and beans and rice. Eat rice and beans and beans and rice. Yes, there are people that survive on nothing more than beans and rice and beans. It can be done. It can be done. You might not like it all the time, but to help yourself get out of debt, it happens. And if you're in a situation where you don't have anything else, you might really like rice and beans and beans and rice. You might not like it every time, but you can survive. And you can survive very well. Also, have canned and vacuum sealed foods like meat, soup, and veggies. Canned and vacuum sealed foods like meat, soup, and veggies. Survival foods. Stockpile survival food. Stockpiled survival food. I started doing this before I met Carol, and since then, that's what we've been doing. Stockpiling survival food. Like I said, we have 4 Patriots food, and we also have Patriots food. MREs are good, long-lasting options, but they're more expensive and they cause serious constipation. Also, don't forget your can opener. Don't forget your manually used can opener. Carol and I have 2 of those. We have 2 of those. One broke down, we bought another. We always have 2 can openers. We don't even have an electric powered can opener in our home. Don't forget your can openers. Drink mixes and electrolyte replacements. Carol's been very good with me, making sure we have drink mixes and electrolyte replacements. Sometimes it gets very boring drinking nothing but water. Yes, we drink a lot of water here. We drink a lot of water here. And yes, she makes sure we have drink mixes and electrolyte replacements. That's important. It's very important. Charlene Meow says, live within your means. I have 100 bean recipes. Adversity, power, pain, teach the wise and change to the better. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, having these electrolyte replacement powers for fast energy and variety. I also have protein-rich powdered drink. I have protein-based powdered drink mix. When I really need to pick me up, instead of eating food, I'll turn to that protein-powered drink mix. It's awesome. It's really tasty,
Location,
and it does a great job.
Class light, magnitude 4.2, 6 minutes ago.
A 4.2 off of Central America, off of Nicaragua, just a few minutes ago. But these electrolyte replacements and drink mixes provide for fast energy, and they provide for variety to help your psyche. To help your psyche. You need to also have basic dining utensils and disposable plates and napkins, especially if you're trying to save water. You may also consider getting a portable camp stove. A portable camp stove. We have that as well. We have our outside grill, and we're going to use it, and we did use it after that hurricane took out our power. We used our outside grill to not just grill things and barbecue, we used it just to cook with. Just to cook with. Okay? But getting a portable camp stove is the same thing as having an outside grill. Don't use it indoors. Use it outside on a table. Now, having a portable camp stove, this depends a bit on your approach to survival and your location. Also, fuel. Fuel for your camp stove or any heaters you have. If you live in an area where wood is plentiful, I would question whether you need a stove, because you can use wood. Now, there is all kinds of wood laying around on the ground outside around us, because the hurricane knocked over trees. Yes, the trees have been cut up, but there's piles upon piles of wood sitting alongside the roadside, just waiting for somebody to pick it up. If you have or live in an area where there is wood available, I would seriously question your need for a stove. However, if you live in a desert or plains area where wood fuel might be scarce, go for a multi-fuel stove. Go for a multi-fuel stove so you can be as flexible as possible when it comes to finding more fuel once you run out. There are many options that will work for you with gasoline, diesel, aviation fuel, and more. Now you're going to need light. You're going to need light. I recommend at least 3 tactical flashlights. 3 tactical flashlights. This is 1. This is 2. I got this a few years ago from 4 Patriots. This is one of my favorite flashlights and one of my most durable. This is a police flashlight that I also purchased a lot more years ago than I want to admit to. Also, this is also a tactical flashlight here. I bought this a few years ago. It's very good. This is very good. And this can be used for a variety of things as well. Not just the light itself, but the outside of this light. I will explain that later. This can also be used for more things than just a flashlight. I'll talk about that later as well. Now, you must assume that the power will go out and not be coming back on for a duration of time. A duration of your crisis. Maybe the entire time the power's out and that your crisis is ongoing. Okay? Your go-to buddy for dealing with is a humble flashlight. Your go-to buddy that you have with you can be your most humble flashlight. Consider headlamps. Carol and I have a variety of headlamps available to us with batteries to power those. The headlamps will allow you to work hands-free. Your headlamps will allow you to work hands-free rather than carrying this around. Okay? Yes, you can put this under your arm. And I frequently have done that when I was a police officer, and I still do it. But having a headlamp is sometimes even more effective because this ties up my arm. This ties up my arm. But having a flashlight on my head makes it even more hand-free. Okay? That way I can do things. Okay? I can do things with no hassle, without holding a light between my teeth or under my arm or in my hands. Okay? Lights of all kinds are good for signaling as well. Now, you can also add the luminous wonders. You can add those luminous wonders, you break them, and all of a sudden, you don't break the plastic part, but you break the container that has the chemical in it. It's called a chem light. You can break those lights, and you can have power with those luminous lights that you can put on your body. You can use them for Halloween or use them for a number of things. But those luminous wonders are great. Those luminous wonders are great, and you can add them to your cache or stash at any time. They're great, and they're mostly inexpensive. Flashlights are the best that you can get. Flashlights are the ones you can get, and they afford you more reliability. Flashlights like this afford you more reliability. Now, LED lights are brighter, more durable, and use less power. LED lights use less power, and they're more durable. And yes, we have LED lights here with us as well. Headlamps. Look for models that focus more on close range. Look for headlamps that focus more on close range. Usable light and longer run times compared to other flashlights. Having those headlamps often give you more flexibility because they use less battery power. They won't go through as much battery power as you think that other flashlights do. You might want to have lanterns here. Now, I was going to bring a lantern to the show today, but I showed you lanterns the last time we talked about this. You can have battery-powered lanterns. You can have alcohol or other chemical lanterns. Gas-powered lanterns work fine, but they're more dangerous than a good battery lantern. Use these lanterns for area lighting in your home or even outside. You can use those lanterns for outside light, inside your home, or in the dark, or at your camp to save power. Okay? Save your flashlights and use those lanterns for light. Okay? The lanterns use less light because most of these lanterns nowadays are LED, and they won't gobble battery power. Batteries. Have lots and lots of batteries. As I showed you the last time we did a program like this, I have a drawer full of batteries here on my desk. AA, AAA, we have C batteries here, we have D cell, C cell we have D cell batteries, we have C cell batteries, and we have 9-volt batteries for replacing in our smoke and our CO2 detectors. AA, AAA, C's, D's, and 9-volt batteries. Have lots and lots of batteries for everything that you could possibly need them for. Okay? I talked about chem lights. AA snap lights. These are great lights. Yes, the younger people in our generation of our families have used them at raves. But those snap lights are even better than just at a rave. Okay? They're superb for marking, signaling, and providing soft but usable area light. And they illuminate without any severe risk of a fire. Those chem lights are soft but usable, and they're used for almost anything. They have almost zero risk of a fire. Okay? You need clothing. You need clothing, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to need the right kind of clothes in the aftermath of a disaster for protection from the elements. Long sleeve and short sleeve shirts, long pants. Don't go to a disaster with short pants. You're going to get your legs cut up. Long pants will give you protection from getting your legs cut off, and they're also give you protection, very reasonable protection from the sun, so you don't get sunburn on your legs. They're also more durable. Okay? They're also good for the environment. Make sure you have good clothing ready to go, appropriate clothing for all seasons. And now we're in the winter season. If you have a 72-hour kit or an emergency preparedness kit with other kinds of clothing, change it out now. Change it out tonight or tomorrow to make sure you have adequate living and workable clothing in your survival kits. Tough, fast-drying clothes and sturdy boots and gloves. Tough, fast-drying clothes, sturdy boots and gloves. That will give you an advantage over anything. This will give you an advantage over the sharp, painful things you're going to deal with in the wake of a disaster. Okay? Make sure you have adequate winter caps. Now, I have a Russian hat. It was given to me by a KGB agent back in the 80s. Okay? Yes, we frequently had people from various other countries that had our boats. We had a Russian ship visit Naval Station San Diego. And I was asked with other federal agents and other police agents from various departments to escort these KGB people from the Navy ship, the Russian ship, asked to escort them to dinner and have a good time, showing them a good time. And we exchanged all kinds of things with them and them with us. I got a Russian winter hat. Yes, this hat was a fur hat, and the ears of that hat folded up like this when I didn't need them to protect the cold from my ears. But when it got very cold outside, I could fold the sides of that hat down over my ears. keep my ears warm. Okay? Those are great. Heidi Patrick says her battery on her phone is getting weak. I have mine on charge right now. Now, I have a hand charger, a portable charger I have here with me. Whenever I have electricity, I make sure I keep my phone charged when I'm not using it. Okay? Heidi Patrick, I hope you have a good night. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. Now, be sure to stock your stash wardrobe. Be sure to stock your stash wardrobe. Sturdy boots or trail shoes. Sturdy boots or trail shoes. Suitable for long distance movement when you're on foot. Sturdy boots or trail shoes. I said that 3 times. That's important. Sturdy boots or trail shoes suitable for long distance movement by foot. Warm weather clothing. Warm weather clothing. I've said that now 3 times already. Cold weather clothing. Socks and underwear. Lots of each. Take care of your feet. Take care of your feet. When I was a Boy Scout, some of my fellow scouts didn't take that good care of their feet. As a result, they had blisters and everything else on their feet. It's hard to walk when you have a blister on your foot, and it becomes very painful. You can avoid that by taking care of your feet. Bandanas. Bandanas, guys. The multi-tool of clothing. They work as a headband. They work as a sunblocker, a desk mask, and everything else. Think about it. Have bandanas. Have a plentiful supply of bandanas. Sunglasses. Preferably ANSI or military standard, MIL-STD. Military standard, MIL-SDT, or TD, I'm sorry. Military standard. Rated for impact protection. Rated for impact protection. These glasses here are rated for impact protection. They're polyglass. They're polypropylene glass. They're actually plastic, but they're rated to see-through, and they're also rated for impact protection in case I'm out shooting with my NUG. My NUG. Okay? Think about how I spelled that. I use it more often than not. You need to have gloves. Go for sturdy classic leather gloves. Go for sturdy classic leather gloves. I bought 3 pair of leather gloves at Lowe's. I bought 3 pair of leather gloves at Home Depot. Okay? I have light, thin technical gloves as well. Light, thin technical leather gloves. I bought them at a police supply shop so I could frisk bad guys without getting my hands cut up. Okay? Think about light, thin technical gloves as well. Mine are leather. You're going to use both of them. Cold weather protection. While you're at it, don't forget a few wool blankets. A few wool blankets. Put the one in your car, in your trunk. Put one at the foot of your bed now. Yes, you're going to want these Spanish or Mexican blankets, like I call them. Nice wool blankets. You're going to keep yourself warm. You can put them inside your sleeping bag or on top of your sleeping bag. They're going to keep you warm, even without the engine in your car running. How about a ham radio? How about ham radio walkie-talkies? I've shown you my ham radios here. I've shown you walkie-talkies here. I've shown you AM, FM weather radios here. You need to have those. You need to have those, guys. Arlen Smith says we all have God-given rights to defend ourselves with whatever means necessary. Yes, being compassionate is important, but so is being respected and also having every item that you need to have to protect yourself. It's being respected by others as well, who worked hard for what they have. And yes, I will defend myself and I'll defend my property because I have worked hard for what we have. And I will always work hard to protect my wife and children. And the bad guys better realize that. Okay? But yes, we have plenty of radios here with us. Okay? Make sure you have communications. Again, your ham radio, your GMRS General Mobile Radio Service radio. By the way, you can get your GMRS General Mobile Radio Service radio license for as little as $13. For as little as $13. Think about that. Think about that. Ham radio tests might cost you upwards of $19 for a test to have your ham radio license. But your GMRS radio license may only cost you $13. Okay? For a multi-year license. If you have a ham radio, you need a ham radio license, just so you know. That way you will have a means of sending and talking, sending information and talking to other people, or have other people relay emergency information to you. Keeping in touch with members of your family or your group, and also be able to talk to the outside world, or get information from other sources. This is essential to receive actionable news and news updates in a timely fashion. Okay? Radios are very important here. I talked to you about our AM/FM weather radio we have here. It's a crank NOAA weather radio. NOAA is the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration. NOAA, NOAA. Okay? An AM/FM weather radio. We've talked about it. I've shown you mine several times in the past. Okay? Arnold Smith says $35 for a GMR license in the United States. I just renewed mine for $13. And the FCC said it was only $13 for a license. Okay? Don Patoka says $30 the last time you checked for the FCC. Wow. Have a spare cell phone. Have a spare cell phone. Yes, I have a spare cell phone as well. An older cell phone. But it still works if I need to. Now, many of you already know that you can't probably even buy a cell phone now and get a spare battery for it. Because the batteries are built into the cell phone now for reasons so they can sell you a new cell phone every year or so. Okay? You used to be able to buy extra cell phone batteries, you can't now. Okay? You should have an assortment of phone chargers. An assortment of phone chargers and also Bluetooth chargers. They have different power ends on them. They have different power end cord on the cords. Okay? Think about having the correct power cords when it comes to recharging your Bluetooth and or your cell phones. Okay? Like I said, some time ago, Carol and I invested with 4 Patriots for a spare charge for our cell phones. This is a solar-powered backup battery for our cell phones. It can charge up to 2 cell phones at a time and upwards of 3 different charges. Upwards of 3 different charges on each of our phones. This is an essential piece of equipment. You don't have to necessarily get it from 4 Patriots because other companies sell these things. But I got mine from 4 Patriots and I swear by it. I swear by it. This is the most popular piece of equipment that 4 Patriots sells. This solar battery charger is the very most popular piece of equipment that Fort Patriot sells. You might consider getting that for yourself, okay? But walkie-talkies, GMRS or Family Radio Service walkie-talkies are very important for close range communications. If you're willing to or wanting to communicate more than just a few blocks or even through the trees, it's not going to work. If you have a lot of buildings or houses between you and the other person that you're wanting to talk to, it's not going to work. If you're going over on the other side of a hill, it's not going to work. Those radio communicators, I'm not talking about cell phones, I'm talking about family radio walkie-talkies. Family radio service
Location south of
walkie-talkies.
PG Islands, last light, magnitude 4.5, 21 minutes ago.
4.5 earthquake south of the Fiji Islands in the South Pacific just a few minutes ago. But those walkie-talkies that you can get, they're family radio service radios. They're great for close in-range communications. But more than 2 miles away with buildings and trees or mountains or hills between you, it's not going to work. Those are only line-of-sight communication radios. Line-of-sight communication radios. Okay? Think about it. Make sure you have plenty of batteries in your FRS or GMRS radios. Plenty of backup power for your GMRS, FRS radios. Tools. You can't call yourself a protective person without good stash of survival tools. You can't call yourself a preparedness person without an adequate supply of survival tools. Okay? You don't need to be Mr. or Mrs. HGTV either, or the second coming of Tim Taylor, or the second coming of Ron Tyler. Okay? But you should have a goodly assortment of tools for taking care of all kinds of repairs to your car or to your home or to your shelter or your camp. Okay? Taking care of all kinds of repairs. Improvised construction, digging yourselves and your neighbors out of rubble. A survival shovel. Manual tools are the way to go. Power tools gobble up too much power, and if there's no power at all, those tools that are battery powered are going to run out of steam. If you have manual tools, you're going to be far enough ahead of everybody else. Get a framing hammer, a hacksaw, a handsaw, an axe, a shovel, a pry bar, a utility knife, a small mechanics kit with sockets and ratchets, duct tape, duct tape, duct tape. Let me say that again. Duct tape, duct tape, duct tape. I said it 6 times. You need to have duct tape. Duct tape is almost better than anything. But duct tape isn't as good as WD-40. You may need to have WD-40 to stop doors from creaking or use it to unstick something. Duct tape, duct tape, duct tape to fix whatever. You may also need WD-40. You may also need paracord. Paracord, guys. We have plenty of paracord here. I should have dug some of it out of our supply kit, but I didn't do it. Next time we come on the air, I'll try to have some paracord here so you know what it is. Paracord here is very cheap for parachute cord. Parachute cord. It's very strong. You can use it for a variety of reasons. I have about 1,500 feet of paracord. How about that? 1,500 feet of paracord. You need to have matches. You need to have matches. A lighter. Not just cigarette lighters. My wife and I now have an assortment of fireplace lighters. Yes, they're butane lighters, but they're long lighters used to light candles and anything else. We have a good supply of those. Vice grips, different kinds of screwdrivers, nails, and also screws and rivets. Screwdrivers, nails, screws and rivets, and bolts of assorted sizes. Multi-tool. A multi-tool for on-the-go fixing. A multi-tool such as this. Okay? Yes, it's a folding knife. It's got a pliers on it. All kinds of different tools here. And it's also got a clip. I can keep it in my pants. A multi-tool. Okay? For on-the-go fixing. Knives. I have custom-made knives here. Okay? There's a reason. I've got several different types of buck knives I've shown here on the air before. You can't even call yourself a preparedness geek or a preparedness person without a good survival knife. Ideally, you might need a solid fixed blade survival knife. A fish knife. A fishing knife like I have in my fishing kit. I also have one of those fixed blade knives in my preparedness kit as well. A smaller but still highly quality survival knife, such as a Morganton companion. It's actually one of my weapons of choice. A folding pocket knife for smaller tasks. Weapons. I told you we're going to talk briefly about weapons. You're going to need several ways to protect yourself, and to keep in mind that not all of them will be available at the time you need it or at the time of an attack. Firearms, rifles, shot nugs, or hand nugs. Ammunition. I'm going to recommend at least 250 rounds for any type of nug that you have. 250 rounds of ammunition for any one nug that you have. Okay? I've talked about knives. Knives can be all-purpose knife or any knife that you have. A club. A trusty ball bat or length of sturdy pipe works, as does a crowbar, but don't be caught carrying those around at night. Don't be caught carrying around a baseball bat, a length of steel pipe, or even a crowbar at night. Every cop in the world will pull you over and wonder and question why you have that. And they may even arrest you for unlawful possession of a bad, unlawful possession of a dangerous weapon. Yes, it could cost you, the police could arrest you for illegal possession of a dangerous weapon. Don't do it. An axe. A tool but a brutal and effective melee weapon. An axe. I have an axe and a hatchet available to cut wood with, or to help protect me or my family. Carol has pepper spray, as I do. Pepper spray is one of the best and only effective range non-lethal weapon for individuals. Pepper spray is one of the best and only effective ranged and non-lethal weapon available. That's invaluable. When it comes to medical supplies, first aid kits. Everyone should be prepared with a medical supply kit to handle everything from trauma to minor injuries and symptoms resulting from illnesses. Note, you're going to need proper professional training to have the skills and necessary confidence to effectively intervene in even a minor medical emergency. And for the record, you are far more likely to need your medical skills than any of your weapon skills to save your life or the life of someone else to save the day. Plan accordingly. Stock your medical survival kit with minor trauma kit, compression bandages, gauze pads, hemostatic sponges or gauze, tourniquets, cut up 3 by 3 foot sheets of sheets, sleeping sheets, cut up 3 by 3 sheets of cloth to be used as a tourniquet or to be able to incapacitate an arm. Wrap the arm under and over and then tie it off in back of your neck. Okay? Those tourniquets can be used for a variety of reasons. Okay? Tourniquets, antiseptics, painkillers, and antibiotics and slings. Again, your tourniquet can be used as a sling. A first aid kit, Band-Aids, burn creams, moleskins, liquid stitch, super glue, medical tape, pain relievers, anti-nausea meds, antihistamines, alcohol pads, tweezers, and eye drops. We have those kinds of things in our bedroom on top of our dressers in case of an emergency. We also have first aid kit in our emergency kit and also in our 72-hour packs. Okay? Prescription meds. Make sure you have your prescription meds and you have a 72-hour supply, or not 72-hour, but a 3-month supply of your meds. A 3-month supply of your meds. Okay? Prescription eyewear and contact lens supplies. Feminine hygiene products. A backpack. A bug-out bag. Your bug-out bag or bob is one of the most commonly discussed backpacks. Your bug-out bag is supposed to be stocked with all the items that we listed above. All the items that we've talked about so far can be put in a bug-out bag, or at least a representative of those items, a sample of those items, in order to allow you to grab it and go when you go to look, when things look so bad. Having a bug-out bag with you when you're traveling, in case you get stranded, is going to be so worth it. Okay? Especially if you're in a place where you cannot wait it out. That way you're ready to go forward. If you cannot afford to have 2 sets of gear, you should make it a point to have a bug-out bag, to have a nearby stash so you can go and survive. Okay? A bug-out bag so you can have a stash that you can load and go in a hurry. Your bob should be durable. You do not risk a blowout from your bob when you're evacuating. A sturdy bug-out bag. Comfortable. It lives on your back, so you want to make sure that the suspension and the straps work for you, not against you. It should be lightweight, because if you overpack it and the back of the bug-out bag or the backpack is weighty, you're going to regret it. Pack your bug-out bag with those items that you need to carry and make it so it's not overly heavy. Because every piece of weight, every pound that you have is going to weigh you down, literally. Okay? Now you can have a comprehensive list of all the essentials to fill it with. You can find a comprehensive list of things to fill it with. Buying a bunch of gear won't make you safe. Just buying a bunch of gear is not going to make you safe. Your existing skill set can make or break you when a disaster strikes. So it pays to get ready now. It pays to be ready right now. That's why I keep bringing this up. It pays to be ready right now. Beyond skills, there are a few more basic painless preps that you need to put in place now so that you are not scrambling when the sky gets dark and the mountains start rumbling or all heck breaks loose. Learn basic survival skills. Learn basic survival skills. Don't overcomplicate things. Focus on the most important ones and practice them constantly. Focus on improving your fitness levels. Focus on improving your fitness levels. In the midst of chaos, you're going to need to be physically strong to overcome whatever challenges that come your way. High physical fitness will give you your mental state that you need to get through anything it's going to face. And it's going to help reduce your stress levels. Mental preparedness. This is probably the toughest thing you're going to learn. Mental preparedness. It starts with you being honest with yourself and where you are right now. Using visualization techniques to train your brain to react to emergencies and to control your thoughts. Use visualization techniques to train your brain to react to emergencies and to control your thoughts and your stress levels. Right now, make a file of all your relevant personal documents and your important information. I'm talking about your IDs. I'm talking about your identification cards, your driver's license, your passports. Think IDs, titles, mortgages, deeds, medical records, social security cards. Stash it all on a flash drive. Make pictures and stash it all on a flash drive. That way you've got it. If necessary, make copies of these records and put them in one of those Ziploc baggies we talked about. Put it all in a Ziploc baggie along with a separate baggie with your map in it. Don't rely on a cell phone to get you through an emergency. Because if towers go down, the cell phones are not going to be good for maps at all. Make sure you have a map in your car and make sure you have a separate map already marked up with the locations you're going to travel and the places you're going to travel to. Again, bug out bags, bug out locations, and a bug out route. Mark those on your map and make sure that you can have those accommodations when crap hits a fan or the crap hits the oscillator. Okay? Keep those things in your bug out bag or keep those things on your flash drive and put that flash drive in your bug out bag or your survival stash so you can access it when you need it. Make sure it does not fall into the wrong hands. Now, this is only the beginning. Everyone has their own personal needs and concerns. I'm aware of that. Some people have to work around disabilities or around elderly family members. Some people have very small children. Some people are alone or have greatly limited budgets. The best way that I found to start getting survival items and making preparations is to start right now. Start immediately on these things. That way you have them when the crap hits the oscillator. There is always something you can do, even if it is practicing a skill. There's always something that you can do. Review a map of your best escape routes, or adding one lousy can of peaches to your stash. Should you cheap out on these things? I wouldn't. These things might help save your life one day, and you cannot afford for them not to work when you need them most. That being said, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to need many quality items that can be had for modest prices. You're going to need many quality items that you can get for modest prices every day. Get quality items at modest prices every day. With so many online reviews, blogs, and videos on the web today, you can easily find a sense or get a sense of the ones that you're going to need most. The ones that are going to give you the most bang for your buck. And if you're persistent and you're patient enough to wait out for discounts, you're likely to get some pretty sweet deals. So are you ready now to get started putting together your survival packing list? I hope so. I spent a lot of hours today finding this talk so I can give you this information. Now, in closing, my dad was in the military. My grandfather was a railroad blacksmith. They served their country very well. But I don't like taking orders. I'm taking matters into my own hands. So I'm just not preparing. I'm going to frickin' war to provide for all of us. The best of the best survival and preparedness content is out there. The best of the best survival and preparedness content is out there. It's out there for you and for me. Now, if your wife begins to question why the garage or spare bedroom is starting to look like a mini Bass Pro Shop, there's a reason. And your best defense is this: I don't know what type of emergency, when or how long it's going to last. But I doubt I can get what we need when the time comes. The best way to start preparing yourself is now. The best way to start is going to prepare websites and Pinterest. Prepper websites and Pinterest. Always ask yourself this: who, what, where, when, and why. With very few exceptions, you'll find everything you need to do, or you need to learn, or things you're going to need to acquire will take on a layered format. 2 examples: fire and water. First, fire. Although one of these might be sufficient, you should have a few more options. Storm-proof matches, barbecue lighters, magnesium fire starters, and something to catch on fire. White cotton makeup removing pads. How about dryer lint? How about cotton impregnated with Vaseline? I carry a handful of scrap pieces of tinder, cedar tinder. I pick up scraps of paper so I have the things I need. So right now, your adventure is on. Find the things that you need. Second, water. The live straw that we have here in our preparedness kits is essential. 1 live straw per person can supply you for anywhere from 500 to 5,000 gallons of water when the crap hits the oscillator. What if you get separated and there is only 1 straw? Someone is going to go without. As good as that straw is, you also need a way to collect and purify and carry water. Why? Unless you plan on hiking along streams and rivers, you may have to go some distance between water sources, and those streams and rivers may be polluted in today's society. My preparedness items also include essentials. We have a solar-powered refrigerator here. Yes, we were just able to get a solar-powered refrigerator that was given to us. We have a church key, a can opener. We have chips, we have salsa. We have soda cans. We have bottles. We have folding lawn chairs. We have a mini table with a cup holder on it. Now, if you don't have pepper spray, and I'm saying this only to use in your defense, I suggest hornet spray rather than pepper spray. As defense only. As defense only. Or as good offense. It's got a dual purpose. Also easier to defend in court than some homemade solutions that you might find online. Be safe. Have a gator. Have a gator. Diane Kemmon says she also saw someone using Doritos to start a fire. If it works, do it. Portable solar panels. Carol and I have gotten portable solar panels, and we have portable storage batteries to charge our computers and to charge our phones with. Or even to charge our ham radios, or even to charge our wind-up radios we have here as well. We even have a shortwave radio here. We can charge with our solar panels. You might also consider a gas mask and a radiation detector. A radiation detector that you can hang on your outside of your clothes. Okay? Another couple of suggestions here before we get out of here. A hobo tool. A hobo tool, just like a multi-tool, but it has a spoon and a fork on it. A hobo tool for eating instead of utensils. A hobo tool instead of a disposable bunch of utensils. Less garage tools. Have a Leatherman super tool, and a collapsible bow saw. A combination hammer and hatchet is good. Lots of paracord. Camping plates and bowls. Carol and I both have stainless steel compartment trays and stainless steel cooking pots and pans. Titanium is lighter and stronger, but it's twice the price. QuadraPro image, search tools and gear. Think about it. Inspect your own bug out bag if you already have one. Inspect it to see what you need or what you already have. Okay? When you think of bug out bags, think of backpacks. Think of backpacks. Instead of a hatchet or an axe, how about a machete and a log? Sometimes a machete will also work. Machete versus a long knife, which is best? Think about it. What about other mandatory preparations that you might need to do before the crap hits the oscillator? A mini knife. A mini fixed blade knife. Think about it. All kinds of survival items you might find on a PDF. Think about survival items that you need to hoard today. 41 survival items, for example, that you might need to hoard right now. Most of these cannot be replicated by self-sufficient means. Think about the best places to store these items. The best place to store these items, and then do it. Linda Covington is talking about cast iron pots. I believe in those as well. Carol and I have several of those as well. Cast iron pots and pans. We have a cast iron stove as well. One that you can bury. We can put food in it, heat it up in an underground fire. Okay? Now, brothers and sisters, I'm going to go to Colossians for tonight's devotional. I've been here many times, and I want to go here again tonight. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to the which also you are called in one body, and be ye thankful. And let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to the which also ye are called in one body, and be ye thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell you richly in all wisdom and teaching, and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. And whatsoever ye do, do it in word or deed. Do all in the name of the Lord, in the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God and the Father by him. Give thanks. We just got through with Thanksgiving. I hope we don't forget what Thanksgiving means. May God continue to bless us in everything we do. Think of your grandparents and what your grandparents had. Think what your grandparents had when they were alive, and then duplicate that, and you will be blessed. I promise you that. Don Patoka just put this up in chat, and I want to also repeat this. We take Saturdays off unless there's an emergency. Now, I may come on the air tomorrow just for kicks and giggles if I have time, and do a members-only broadcast. But on Sunday at 12 noon Eastern Time, or about 12:30 Eastern Time, I come on the air with Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. It's a Sunday school class that I would love to see all of you at. Come here prepared with scriptures in mind, things that you might be thankful for. And let's talk about how Christ makes us thankful for what we have. Come here and join us with Come Follow Me, the Savior Said, Sunday at 12:30 Eastern Time. I hope to see you then. God be with you always. God be with you until we meet again. Brothers and sisters, I mean that with every fiber of my being. God be with you until we meet again. We will see you on the other side. Have a great night, everybody. Much love. We'll see you soon. God bless. Good night.